A week ago, we talked about a possession by seller agreement, which gives a seller the right to stay in their house for a little while after closing. It can make the transition easier as they go to move into the next house. There's also something called a possession by purchaser agreement. We don't see these utilized as often, and the reason will become clear as I tell you about them. But a possession by purchaser agreement allows a buyer to move in a house before they close on it, before they actually own it. And you can understand how sellers sometimes will be reluctant to allow that. Theoretically, a buyer could move all their things in, and if at the last second their loan falls through or something happens and it doesn't work out, they've got to get it all out, and the seller has to get busy trying to find another buyer, and they hope that the buyer they let move in doesn't mess anything up on their way in or their way out. And just from a liability standpoint, a lot of times sellers just won't agree to allowing a purchaser to move in before closing. When they do, more often than not, they just want some strong assurance that the buyer's loan's approved, there's no more remaining contingencies. Maybe there's a big non-refundable deposit before the buyer moves in. Maybe they say that if it doesn't close by a certain day, the buyer's got a certain number of days to get out, or they'll forfeit that deposit. So a seller's going to be very cautious most of the time if they allow someone to move in before closing. If you're a buyer and you'd really like for that to happen, the best approach you could take would be to have your loan fully approved, give the seller all the assurances that you can that you're going to go ahead and consummate the deal and buy it. Maybe even offer them a little something if you don't. And depending on the personalities involved, the seller might let you move in early. A halfway point to what I'm describing is that sometimes a seller will let a buyer move some things into their garage or maybe even into the house with the idea that you're not living here, you're not moving everything in, but if it would help you to fill up my garage a week before closing, yeah, maybe a seller will agree to that. Maybe at no charge, maybe with a small charge. There's different ways to approach the possession by purchaser agreement, but that's just a little insight on that today.